let's get a good one.
Thank you. Your positive thoughts for Marjorie Stoughton Douglas High School are appreciated. Please remain standing for the play of our national anthem.
All right, welcome back. We are live again from the RP Funding Center here, the Jenkins Arena in Lakeland. The 2018 FHSAA Girls Basketball State Championships continue. Our first 6A semifinal between the Ponte Vedra Sharks, 23-5, and their opponent, the Mosley Dolphins out of Lynn Haven, Panama City area. They were 22-5. Along with Coach Will White for Northeast High School in St. Petersburg, I'm Marty Palman, welcoming you back here to the RP Funding Center. And Coach, we're set for 4A and 5A championship games tomorrow. Miami Country Day and Carrollwood Day in 4A. 5A will be Lake Highland Prep against Oxbridge Academy. And now time for the 6A semifinal. The winner of this game will play the winner of the game coming up later tonight between American Heritage and Lakewood. And should be an interesting matchup. According to Max Preps, Ponte Vedra ranked 5th in the state, Mosley ranked number 6.
Yeah, both teams very equal, and I think that for 6A, I think all 4 teams are pretty balanced, and we should have a good 6A semifinal for this game and the next one.
Ponte Vedra coached by Jim Piggott. He is the coach of the Ponte Vedra Sharks. They lost 5 seniors and 1 junior 2 years ago. Last year, they advanced to Lakeland. They lost in this state semifinal round. And they lost to Lakewood, in fact. Lakewood advancing to the state championship game as the starters from Ponte Vedra will be number 2, Riley Mayer, a junior. Number 3, Channing Chappell. And number 10, Trish Balzer. Number 11, Tess Tibbetts, a senior. And number 22, Leah McCarthy, a junior for the Ponte Vedra Sharks. And now the starting lineup coming up for Mosley.
The starters for the home Mosley Lady Dolphins. At the guard, 5'4" sophomore
number 1, Jamia Broglin, a sophomore. Number 5, LaDeja Taylor, a junior. Number 10, Maddie Freeman. Number 12, Jaylee Johnson. Number 12. And Jatavia Holly, number 23, a senior for John Mason's team. We mentioned this last year. 3 of the 4 semifinalists at 6A returning. Ponte Vedra lost last year to Lakewood 74-59 in the semifinal round of 6A. The only team that wasn't here that's here is Mosley. They replaced Ribault, who won the 6A state title a year ago. American Heritage lost to Ribault in the state semifinal a year ago. So Ponte Vedra back for the 2nd year in a row, and Mosley here this year making an appearance. They advanced here by beating Jacksonville Bishop Kinney 39-30 in their region final. Defeated Rickards and Godby at home in Tallahassee, or in the Tallahassee, beat 2 Tallahassee teams to advance here. As jumping from Ponte Vedra will be number 22, Leah McCarthy, and Mosley will win the tip. Mosley in the white uniforms, the green letters and numerals, as the drive shot missed that time by the Dolphins' Jatavia Holly to start.
Yeah, look for her to drive and attack. She's definitely the spark plug on the team, score inside, outside. 18 points a game, so she's by far their best scorer.
Ponte Vedra in the black uniforms, the white letters and numerals, blue and white stripes. That's a turnover there as Mosley heading right to left in the first quarter and driving in, missing the layup short is number 12, Jaylee Dumlin there. And now a foul coming up against Mosley. Jaylee Johnson, as the foul was on Maddie Freeman, first personal there. Looking at the stats for Ponte Vedra, as they are 23-5 coming in.
Nice inbounds play.
Yeah, layup for Trish Balzer is good, but leading scorer for Ponte Vedra coming in. Jenny Chappell averaging 15.5 points a game. Leader in rebounds is Leah McCarthy at 6.5 per contest. Leader in assists, Tess Tibbetts with 4.1 a game. As Mosley will throw it cross court. 2-0 lead for Ponte Vedra. We played a little more than a minute.
And we've said this in the other games. Usually, now these are experienced teams coming back here to the RP Funding Center. But the first few minutes, teams are feeling out. They're nervous about being in the Final Four, and then they'll start to kind of loosen up after a few minutes. Then it's just kind of a regular game once they get into that flow. And if they're going to get tight, they get tight again towards the end of the game in a close game.
Broglin missed a 3, and another drive right to the basket. Open lane for Tess Tibbetts, who lays it in. 4-0 lead for Ponte Vedra. Mosley led by Jatavia Holly, averaging 18 a game. LaDeja Taylor also in double figures, really 13 a game. She also averages 7.5 rebounds to lead Mosley. 3.5 assists, 3.7 assists for Jamia Broglin leads their team. As a turnover, we'll give it back to Ponte Vedra, but we played a minute 52 here. It's a 4-0 lead for the Sharks.
What you'll see Ponte Vedra do, they run an offense called a read and react, which is all 5 people outside the three-point line, and it's a lot of passing and a lot of back cutting. And so if you overplay on defense, they will definitely get you on the back cut, and you've already seen that a couple times.
And a turnover by Mosley, and this is their first state semifinal appearance, but Holly nearly threw it away to Riley Mayer out of bounds off Ponte Vedra. Coach John Mason of Mosley says a young team that works hard, had a 13-game winning streak and battled sickness and injury throughout the season. Their road here, as I mentioned, defeated Agabi 52-44. They were district champion, knocked off Rickards, who was ranked number 1.
Deep three there by Brogland.
51. Brogland hits the 3, and it's a 4-3 lead for Ponte Vedra. Beat Rickards 54-51, beat Bishop Kenny and the Jacksonville 39-30. Ponte Vedra advancing with a 56-43 win against Bellevue, 47-42 win against Gainesville Eastside, and defeated 5A 70-52. They were also at home as a district champ. And we'll have a foul coming up on the rebound. Coming, it's Ponte Vedra. It's a Mosley, actually. Brogland will pick up the foul.
Referee was going the wrong direction on that one. Called the foul correctly, but he's definitely in the wrong position right now.
I think they're going to talk about this here.
Yeah, he pointed the wrong direction. Called a foul on Mosley, Brogland, but...
Well, that...
He just pointed the wrong direction. He had the right foul, but he just didn't know which direction he was going. Hey, it's a Final Four, and they got some nerves, too. Actually, Ponte Vedra, they were doing a 4-out offense with a high post, but it's still a read and react, which a lot of passing and cutting, almost like a Princeton-style old-school offense.
Underneath, and layup missed by Mosley. That was Autumn Goffigan who missed for the Dolphins that time. 4-3 lead for Ponte Vedra. Mayer over to Trish Balzer. Now the free throw line, Leah McCarthy. She'll pick up the foul driving right baseline. So she'll go to the line for 2 free throws. Autumn Goffigan, her first personal, 3rd team foul on Mosley. No fouls on Ponte Vedra yet. 4:57 to go first quarter. And 2 free throws for Leah McCarthy. At the line for Ponte Vedra. And misses the first. McCarthy averages 5 points a game. As Deja Taylor will return for Mosley. A 52% free throw shooter, McCarthy. It's 1 of 2, right near her average. Earlier today in 4A, the day started with Carrollwood Day over Gainesville PK Young. As advanced Carrollwood Day to the championship game. Final there 67-35. Miami Country Day over Slam Academy, Miami 63-30. 4A championship game tomorrow, Miami Country Day and Carrollwood Day at 2 o'clock. Long 3 is short by Brogan. We see it again, Coach. They're taking the 3-pointers out by the blue line, which is the G League line.
Yeah, you see, this is the first year where we've had the NBA line on the court, and you're really seeing that affect the play all week where people are shooting from much deeper. I think it's just a mental thing where, they're behind that line. They don't feel like they're that deep because they're right behind just the blue line, but seeing a tremendous increase in the amount of deep 3-pointers. Either that or everyone's just watching Steph Curry all year.
Driving the baseline and forcing up the shot. Missed that time for Ponte Vedra by Channing Chapel, and on the other way, it's a layup good for Maddie Freeman. So Freeman ties the game at 5. 4:15 to go in the first quarter, and for Ponte Vedra there, it's Jackie Wagner, number 44. It's like she'll pick up a foul on Brogland. So Brogland, that will be her second. But again, we mentioned the 4A championship game will be tomorrow, Miami Country Day and Carrollwood Day. 5A semifinals, Lake Highland Prep 55, Fernandina Beach 37. And their opponent will be Oxbridge Academy tomorrow at 4:30. The 5A title is Oxbridge defeated Cardinal Gibbons 67-44.
Yeah, boy, Oxbridge was tough, man. They just shot the lights out.
Here is Channing Chapel inside, and Wagner going to pick him another foul. Jackie Wagner will. Looks like they're going to call this on LaDeja Taylor inside. That'll be their 4th foul.
Yeah, calling it kind of tight here early.
And none fouls so far against Ponte Vedra. Tied at 5 as they'll get it to Chapel. That's a 3 from near the top of the key, no good, and that's over the back foul. Coming up on Ponte Vedra is Hayden Oates. Her first foul of the game. So head the other way with Mosley.
Yeah, you see Ponte Vedra sitting in a 2-3 zone, really kind of patient, trying to protect the basket, make Mosley settle for some outside shots. Ooh, took out the cameraman.
Not our cameraman, but yeah. Our camera guys.
Want to see if he got that picture, that ball right there, right in front of the lens.
I love those shots.
The
ball coming right at you.
3D. Yeah, that's the one thing about sitting over here, a little bit away from the court. Last year, we probably seemed like at least once a game, the ball come flying our way.
Yeah, and you're right. We used to be, like as you said, across the way. We flipped this year. We were across the way with the scorer's table and the benches on this side we're on, but we were right on the table, right on the floor in those tables, and people would come flying. And now we got these people in the luxury seats can take the hit now.
No, these are nice seats right here. This is courtside stuff right there.
The seats we're in are nice. The seats in front of us are even nicer. But yeah, not a bad setup now for the media as well as the fans. The Lakeland Magic now running the show here at the RP Funding Center, their first league of the year in the G League. As driving in, the shot missed by Jaylee Johnson. Jaylee Jomelin, pardon me.
Just watched Wagner come out of the game there. She wasn't happy coming out, that's for sure. But more, not even a negative way, just sort of like, I'm gonna gotta do a little bit better. D3, a team attempt there by Johnson. Yeah, both teams kind of struggling here. Neither team's getting a good flow, but lots of fouls, lots of travels, lots of turnovers so far. So again, still just trying to find their way.
Yep, and tied at 5. Pressure by Mosley. Ponte Vedra will beat it across half court. Now Chappell has an open look at the basket. She lays it in.
I remember her from last year being just a solid player. She's had 72 three-pointers this year, so you can see Mosley's really closing out on her. But she's smart enough to where she was able to take that and go for the drive off of that deep three-point look. So using that.
3 missed short that time. And Chappell, a sophomore, leading Ponte Vedra in scoring coming in. Jim Piggott, their head coach. And talking about this year's record of 23-5, included a win over Ribault, who won the 6A title a year ago. Had actually gone back-to-back. This year lost in the second round. Chappell open, 3 right elbow.
Got the shooter's roll.
Yeah, hit the right side of the rim and in. Chappell with 5 straight points, and Ponte Vedra with a 5-point lead, 10-5. Ponte Vedra, 3rd consecutive 20-win season, won all 8 of their district games during the regular season. 2nd district title in 3 years, and their 2nd straight trip to the state semifinals. Again, last year losing to Lakewood, as well as a foul underneath against Ponte Vedra.
I think that's going to be on McCarthy, her first.
As down that time goes Jade Johnson. She's okay. It is the first on McCarthy. 2nd team foul.
Still amazed how both you and Mike do your scorebook in pen.
Yeah.
That's some confidence right there.
This is what Mike does. Actually, this is where I learned this, and I like these pens. And yeah, I know. You're right. I mark out things sometimes. It's fine. What's worse is, as the free throw is good by Johnson, is trying to do a box score in this for baseball. Yeah. You have some of those little 10, 11 run innings, and
yeah, it's hard. Yeah, it's
you're moving over innings. You can't. Yeah. First free throw good for Johnson, and she hits both.
Yeah, stepped up nice into both of those.
10-7 lead for Ponte Vedra. 2 minutes to go here, first quarter. Pressure again by the Mosley Dolphins. Ponte Vedra up, throws it away.
Yeah, it's hard to make that pass in the middle in that big person's moving. They almost have to be stationary so they can get their feet behind themselves.
Johnson's 3 is short. Loose ball won by Ponte Vedra as Tibbetts forward. Chappell trying to come up with it, and she, well, I'm going to say out of bounds off of Maddie Freeman of Mosley.
Yeah, that could have went either way. No replay here.
No, we do not have replay. Well, we have replay. I think we have replay capability on our broadcast.
But I meant like as an official's review.
That's the next thing we can do for these state championships. We have the ability.
We'll just tell them, hey, no, count it. Who is it off of?
I'm going to just, right tackle for 3, top of the key. Oh, nice looking shot. She's hit back-to-back threes now, has 8 points. Ponte Vedra up 6.
Her shot is so compact and quick. She's able to get her shot off so fast, it's going to be hard to defend that.
Freeman, side of the backboard that time. Gets the loose ball on the floor. And it'll end up back out towards half court as Jatavia Holly comes back up with it. 1:22 to go opening quarter. 6-point lead for Ponte Vedra. 6A semifinal game. Oh, rejected that time. Driving the baseline. Jomelin had her shot blocked out of bounds by McCarthy.
She did a good job stepping up inside there. She just went a little too deep right into the trees.
This is Mosley's first state semifinal appearance in girls basketball. Ponte Vedra here for the 2nd year in a row, so neither has won a state title. 3 from the right corner missed by Holly. But a rebound from Maddie Freeman. Now down to a minute to go as Johnson goes across to Freeman, tipped out of bounds off of Tess Tibbetts. It'll stay with Mosley. So Mosley to inbound. A minute even left here in the first quarter. And now a steal the other way by Chappell. And basket, I don't know if it would have counted.
She's tough.
She missed it. She is. And only a sophomore.
You saw there Ponte Vedra, and what you have to do sometimes, I think, if you play like a 2-3 zone or some sort of zone where you're sitting back, you can't just do that the whole time and let the other team get into a flow. So they actually trapped out of that. I was watching the coach call out the play there, and it's basically a trapping 23.
Freeman called for her 2nd foul there. That 3 missed that time by number 2, Riley Mayer. And now a turnover on the other end as Ponte Vedra takes it back. Tess Tibbetts. Chappell fakes a 3. Over on the right wing. 3-pointer there. That's good. And that's Trish Balzer. 3rd 3 of the period for Ponte Vedra. They're up 9, 16-7.
Yeah, I remember them from last year, really specifically. And no offense, we watch a lot of games, so, things kind of blend. But they really stood out to me. Even though they lost to Lakewood, their fundamentals, they really pass really well. They back cut well. They hit the shots. They were a really strong team.
3 seconds, 2 seconds. That's a air ball by Freeman to end the first quarter. So Ponte Vedra getting the shooting going there late in the period. Ended up shooting 60%, 6 for 10, 3 for 6 behind the arc. A 9-point lead over Mosley at the end of the first quarter. Marty Palmer along with Coach Will White. We will take a break, come back for the second quarter in a moment. You're watching the 6A semifinal 2018 FHSAA Girls Basketball State Championships live here from the RP Funding Center in Lakeland on NFHS Network.
This event is brought to you by Olive Garden. Olive Garden is proud to be the official dining room of high school sports. With menu choices to please the entire family, as well as to-go and catering options, it's the perfect restaurant for your post-game dining. To find your nearest location or to order your meal online, visit olivegarden.com. Olive Garden delivers the final moments. Bring home Italian favorites and they'll cheer for you on game day. Olive Garden is the official dining room of high school sports, and with the new catering delivery service, you never have to miss a moment.
16-7, Ponte Vedra leading Mosley at the end of the opening period. 6A semifinal is coming up next. Our last game of the day is a team that Coach White knows pretty well, Nicole Tunsil and St. Pete Lakewood and the Plantation American Heritage. Both teams in the state semifinals a year ago and did play each other. Lakewood was the state runner-up to Revault. American Heritage, kind of like Ponte Vedra, lost in the semifinals last year.
Yeah, anybody ran up against Revault last year, it was going to be a bad night. They were one of the best teams I've seen in a long time. Probably them, Miami Country Day as well, but Revault last year with Jasmine Jones, who's had an outstanding freshman year this year at Louisville.
Right.
They were just they were a whole nother level of a team.
And I know they had Jazz Jones, also Renaya Davis, who's at Tennessee, as well from Revault.
Hear a lot of people behind me yelling for over in the back there.
Oh boy, open 3 set by Tibbetts. Tess Tibbetts is the 3rd Ponte Vedra player to hit a 3-pointer. That's 4 in this first half, and now a 12-point lead for the Sharks, 19-7.
Good defense there by Wagner going straight up.
But a
then
rebound.
they reach in.
putback is good. As an offensive rebound, basket good for LaDeja Taylor. She has a chance for a three-point play.
But back to that over and back, I think a lot of people don't quite understand that rule. And so in order to be on one side of the court, you need three things. You need the ball and both feet. So Wagner that time, she was straddling the half-court line. So even though the ball went across and one foot went across, that third element did not go across. So she was still technically established in the backcourt. So that was a good call.
Interesting. That's interesting because you're right. You'd see that and think, I would think.
Because it looks bad, because especially the ball. We all follow the ball. But it's technically those three things, both feet and the ball.
Turnover there. Now Mosley, three-pointer right corner is short by Holly. Ponte Vedra 60%, 6 of 10 from the floor in the first period, 3 for 6 from three-point range. Only 11% for Mosley, 2 of 17 from the floor, and that leads Ponte Vedra to a basket.
Yeah, that's what I was actually trying to look up here real quick, is for Mosley's best player, Holly. She's definitely their leading scorer, 18.5, but she's 0 for 5 from the field and just kind of really struggling. She's trying to get to the basket. She's trying to take a couple outside shots, so something to get her back into the game is definitely, if Mosley wants to hang into this game, she's got to start stepping up a bit.
Ponte Vedra with 6 turnovers and 5 assists. 4 turnovers, only 1 assist for Mosley. They were led in scoring by Jemiah Brogland, with the Dolphins 3 points for her. Chappell now with 10 points is in double figures. Rebounds were 10-8 in favor of Ponte Vedra as they lead it by 12-21-9 and get the ball back here after the turnover. Again, Mosley looking for their first state girls basketball title.
Wow, hit the under part of the basket there, and it still went in.
Jackie Wagner scoring for Ponte Vedra. So now it's a 14-point lead, 23-9. And, so far, Coach, this is another one of those examples. We've seen it today of teams that have been here before against teams that haven't.
Makes a big difference in so many ways. The players, the shooting, the bus ride, the hotel, all that stuff. That first year, we came to 3 in a row, and that first year was just a blur with all that stuff. And trying to get, the bands and cheerleaders and principals and getting that all lined up. And then you just kind of learn, like, okay, let's just go. I remember the first time I wore some really nice clothes and stuff. The next time I'm like, look, I'm wearing whatever I normally wear. It's another game, and it makes a tremendous difference.
Leah McCarthy drives inside and scores. Mosley needs a timeout. 5:19 to go second quarter. This lead expanded to 16 for Ponte Vedra, 25-9 over the Mosley Dolphins.
Yeah, just kind of doing it and trying to say this respectfully in the sense, if you watch Ponte Vedra warm up, you just wouldn't think that they would be as good as they were, even last year. So this is a true compliment in the sense that they move the ball really well. They take good passes. They're so fundamentally sound. They hit the open shot. So they're not real tall. They're not real fast, but they just kind of do everything real well.
And also, when you're shooting 71%, 10 of 14, and they're getting, they're not only are they getting inside, but they're hitting threes, 4 for 7 behind the arc. They're doing a little bit of everything. They've out-rebounded Mosley 15-9, 8 assists, 8 turnovers for the Ponte Vedra Sharks, 4 blocks. They've 12 4 points in the paint advantage, 8 3 points off turnovers. It's all Sharks right now.
Yeah, usually this is a tough place to shoot, but this week, I'll chart it because I'm like obsessed with numbers, but I'll look, and so far I know that shooting percentage here is way, way up. For whatever reason, I'm not sure if the only difference to me is the NBA three-point line, which I think kind of spread some people out a little bit, and I don't know, maybe it just gives them a little more confidence.
16-7 at the end of the first quarter. Ponte Vedra's outscored Mosley 9-2 here in the second so far. Is that 3 short from the left wing by Holly? Rebound from Ponte Vedra. I see Lakewood, I believe, now up in the stands.
That's
American Heritage. That's Heritage.
Lakewood's here underneath, but they're both teams checking out. That's to me, the bigger advantage coming to the Final Four is playing first, because then if you can win, you get back out, you can watch the whole second game. So that Lakewood and American Heritage, they'll kind of have to go in maybe about the third quarter, start getting ready for their game plan and stuff. But I remember when we played Nova, being able to scout them first was a really, really big help.
Driving in and a nice give and go, cutting to the hoop, backdoor layup for Tess Tibbetts, who has 7, 27-11. Out the other end, as Holly had scored her first basket of the game for Mosley. See if she can get going.
Wide open there.
And now driving to the hoop and missed it short. Not sure if it got blocked. She was getting up slowly after the play.
Yeah, just kind of rushed that one there.
Tibbetts over to Hayden Oates, number 21 for Ponte Vedra.
And that's something that Ponte Vedra can do that can kind of frustrate some people is.
Oh, well, that's going to frustrate some people,
Don't
too.
leave her open. That's one thing that'll help.
Channing Chapel, her third three of the half. She's got 13. Hits that from the right corner. It's 30-11.
Yeah, but Ponte Vedra is so patient, and they do everything so fundamentally sound, and then you feel like you have to get back into the game, so you rush. You make two. Like that's a perfect example. Like that point to a deep corner pass, that's completely unnecessary against 2-3 zone. But you just feel like the sense of like I got to make something happen so fast because we're falling behind, and it's frustrating. It's just ultra frustrating to play such a fundamentally strong team.
That
like that open cross court right there is just so strong.
Chapel to the hoop and lays it up and in. You only a sophomore? My goodness.
Seeing so many games last year, she really stood out to me last year. And
that time a reach in is open underneath for Mosley was Autumn Goffigan. Foul will be on Leah McCarthy, her second. 32-11.
Like you said, if you shoot this way, this is kind of what happens with that score. And
12 for 17, Ponte Vedra, and 5 of 9 from the arc.
That's a lot. That's a lot of points for the half with still 3.5 minutes to go.
Free throw good on the first attempt for Goffigan, freshman, 32-12. Jackie Wagner back in for Ponte Vedra, number 44. Number 13, Jaylee Jamalan back in for Mosley. And hits the second as well. 32-13. 3:27 left here, second quarter. Ponte Vedra breaks the press again. Wagner over to Balzer. Threw it away.
Well, I was going to say Wagner. You can tell they're well coached there. A lot of times your center in the middle of the court, they want to over dribble or whatever. So Wagner did a good job there, really turning and facing up, looking on the backside. Then they just got a little out of hand and threw a little too far there. But Wagner's done a good job settling up there in the center, being that big target against any sort of pressure. If you get the ball in the middle against any sort of pressure, you're going to beat that most of the time.
There's the three again. No good. Right corner for Jamalan that time. Rebounded by Ponte Vedra. Coach Piggott. Wagner going to get called for the travel.
Yeah, that's what happens when you dribble. After I just got done bragging about her, she kind of unnecessarily dribbled, and then when you pick your ball up, especially if you're a center and you're not used to being a dribbler, you kind of have a hard go of it. So she kind of got stuck there with nowhere to go.
2:50 to go before the half. 32-13, Ponte Vedra up 19.
Ponte Vedra doing a good job changing the defense, going to a 1-3-1.
Coach Piggott talking about Channing Chapel, said a remarkably accurate three-pointer free throw shooter. I haven't seen that in this game.
Yes.
Pass tipped in the air, but one back by Holly, and then Holly threw it away.
Yeah, Holly's just really trying to do a little too much. She's playing a little too fast. Her shots, she had a few good shots around the basket, but just playing a little too. She just got to let it slow down a little bit, let it come to her, and let her skills kind of take over. About 7 on the count.
And Wagner gets it across to Tibbetts. Tibbetts now backs up the corner. Nice cutter to Wagner. Wagner drives in. Shot may have been blocked by Goffigan. And ball will go out of bounds off of Wagner, who was in bounds. So it'll be Mosley ball. Wagner will come out, and Leah McCarthy returns with 2 fouls for Ponte Vedra with 2:14 left before half.
She had a good, Wagner gave him a nice, good few solid minutes there. Only 3 or 4 really good minutes.
6A semifinal. The championship game will be tomorrow night at 7 o'clock here at the RP Funding Center. The Spectrum Sports will have championship coverage tomorrow. And traveling called. Wow, looked like it may have been a foul as Freeman drove in left wing, but nope. Traveling call, the Dolphins turnover.
I think she was looking for some contact, but Chapel did a good job of sliding over there, then getting back and out of the way and going straight up. And then when you're ready for that contact and it doesn't happen, sometimes you get an extra step in there.
Ponte Vedra up, and nice job there defensively. Brogland gets the steal, then gets it back. Now drives to the hoop, over 2 defenders. Missed the shot, though, too strong. The rebound to McCarthy. Well, the trap worked. The pressure got a turnover, but Brogland missed the shot from about 5 feet in. Here's Chappell the other way for Ponte Vedra.
Nice pass. She stopped her cut.
And Tibbetts traveled. Yeah, she was trying to catch up with the ball.
That was a really good look. If you watch it here from half court, Tibbetts kind of slowed down a little bit, not thinking that Chappell saw her, and she kept going hard to the basket. That was a really good pass by Chappell. They just weren't on the same page.
Mosley now. It'll be Jade Johnson returning, replacing Maddie Freeman.
One thing to watch for here for Ponte Vedra is McCarthy's 2 fouls, and she's in here late in a quarter. Wagner comes in and gives they've been pretty much going 6 deep, with basically Wagner coming in for McCarthy and everyone else pretty much being the primary players while they're in there, maybe 7 deep.
Boy, tough pass from Brogland. Coming up with it is Taylor. Minute 15 to go in the period. Now back out to.
Now they're man-to-man. I've really liked Ponte. They've changed their defense up quite a bit.
Brogland gets it back.
Oh, no, they're on a diamond and 1. They're guarding Mosley.
Oh, and Taylor couldn't come up with it. It went off her head.
Sorry, Holly man-to-man, and everybody else was in a zone.
Chappell, boy, when she gets that ball, she's taken off. Over to Tibbetts. She's open. 3 right wing. Good. Tibbetts' second 3 of the half. She now has 10. Joining Chappell in double figures. Ponte Vedra 6 for 10 behind the arc. 14 for 20 shooting. They lead at 35-13. 47 seconds to go before halftime. And, you know, the last few possessions, they had 2 or 3 turnovers in a row. So, again, once they get a shot, they're very efficient. Again, only 20 shots taken. Mosley's taken 28, but Mosley's only hit 4 shots. Ponte Vedra's hit 14.
That will win you a lot of games.
35 seconds to go. Jumper right of the paint, rolls off for Taylor.
They've had a ton of those this half.
It's a good look. She was wide open.
Yes, and good form, got up, nice little lift, but just in and out. Play for 1 shot here with under 30. In general, I think most teams, about 45 seconds is almost too long for a high school team to
a carry
to hold it out.
Huh.
Oh, that's interesting.
So much for that. 18.4 to go as Chappell gets called for a carry. Just kind of looking at our coach going, okay. Did see that. So now Mosley can try the final shot. Down 22. 10 seconds now to go.
Holly's asking to clear out. She wants to go a little one-on-one.
Holly did clear Mayer out momentarily. 5 seconds. Now down to 3. And we'll get the shot, and it's in. Layup for Taylor before the buzzer. That will get Mosley within 20 at halftime. A score of 35-15. Ponte Vedra outscored Mosley 16-7 in the opening quarter. And in that quarter, 19-8. So a 20-point lead as we head to the halftime buzzer here now, halftime report, and we will take a break, come back in just a few moments. Our 6A semifinal game, Ponte Vedra 35, Mosley 15. Marty Palmer along with Coach Will White, live from the RP Funding Center in Lakeland. We'll return in just a few moments here on the FHS Network.
This game is brought to you by Under Armour, maker of the world's best apparel, footwear, and accessories. Check out the full line of performance gear now at UA.com. Under Armour, I will.
You know, the Greek philosopher Aristotle said, you are what you repeatedly do. But in our book, we say you are what you repeatedly do when things get hard. When you look at the naysayers and the haters, and there's a million of them, but you take it upon yourself to erase all doubt. Get that doubt out of here. So my apologies to Aristotle. But excellence doesn't become a habit by running the same path over and over. The excellent ones just step up to the line and ask, what's the record? Under Armour, get your feet straight.
William Shakespeare said that all the world's a stage, and men and women are merely players. But Mr. Shakespeare never met Stephen Curry. Ni hao, the guy who was in the gym every dang day. Patron saint of the underdog, the league's most unguardable player. Bang, he knocks it down. So my apologies to Mr. Shakespeare, because onto the stage of mere players enters the babyface assassin. And he's about to write his own story. Fall back.
Will's not here, but I can go, I guess.
It's easy to spot people who participated in high school sports and activities.
Right on time.
They learned important lessons like leadership, teamwork, respect.
Hey, our meeting moved to 10.
We'll be ready.
Values that last a lifetime.
We need to focus on 3 factors.
Support high school sports and activities in your community. When kids take part, they get set for life.
All right, welcome back to the RP Funding Center as we get ready for the second half of this 6A semifinal game. It's Ponte Vedra 35, Mosley 15. Marty Pommelin with Coach Will White. Welcome you back here to the RP Funding Center. And looking at the first half numbers, and Coach, as you said, Ponte Vedra 70%, 14 of 20 from the field. Can't argue with that. It's going to be hard to beat 70% shooting. 6 for 10 from three-point range. And the Sharks, 2 in double figures. Channing Chapel with 15, Tess Tibbetts with 10 points.
Yeah, main thing you look at is shot attempts and turnovers and rebounds. But, you know, for Ponte Vedra, if you make that many shots, you're not going to get that many shot attempts off because you're making everything, because Mosley's attempted 10 more shots. But like you said, 14 of 20 shooting here, there's nothing you can do about that. I mean, that's right. Unbelievable. So Mosley, if they want to get back into it, they're going to have to figure out some sort of different pressure, something to try to get the Ponte Vedra Sharks off of their spot.
So 35-15 the score as we get ready for the second half. And Ponte Vedra, yeah, you mentioned that in the sorry about that. 70%, we mentioned 14 of 20 for Ponte Vedra, 5 for 30 for Mosley. And that's it's going to be hard to beat that kind of shooting. Chapel with 15 points, 6 for 8 from the floor, 3 of 4 from three-point range. Tess Tibbetts with 10 points. All 4 of her shots she's hit, 2 for 2 from three-point range.
Yeah, so if I'm Coach Mason for Mosley, I'm like, hey, look, law of averages. Right? There's no way they're going to shoot that way again. If they do, hey, nothing you can do about it anyway. So let's just get back into it. Let's play our game. Let's get after it. And let's maybe, 4-minute mark here. So we're down 20. Let's be down 12, or around the 12-point range. Just kind of like try to piece it together a little bit at a time. Because one thing that is a little scary for Ponte Vedra is they had 13 turnovers.
Right, that's true.
So if Mosley can keep turning them over and start getting some scores off of that, then, you can turn a game around pretty fast.
Ponte Vedra starting the game with the ball second half, heading right to left. Open 3 on the left wing is short by Tess Tibbetts. That's her first miss from the floor. It's been 4 of 4 for her in the first half, 2 for 2 from three-point range. So again, the winner here moves on to play the winner of American Heritage and Lakewood coming up at 8 o'clock. 6A championship game tomorrow at 7. Nice pass. Step and underneath. Missing the shot, though, Jade Johnson with the pass inside from Jatavia Holly. And the ball will go out of bounds back to Ponte Vedra.
Yeah, they got to make those if they want any chance of getting back into this one.
Trish Balzer inbounding.
They do a tremendous job, Ponte Vedra, of getting the ball from one side of the court to the other.
Across to Chapel. Nice move from Chapel all the way to the baseline. And she did, and she missed it short. A couple of nice moves to get around on Taylor. And now here comes Mosley the other way, driving towards the baseline. Picking up the foul is Jatavia Holly. Only 2 points for Holly in the first half. See if she can get it going here in the second half. We'll go to the line for free throws. Foul on Tess Tibbetts, her first. And only 4 fouls on Ponte Vedra in the first half. Only 6 on Mosley, so not really any foul trouble for anyone. Holly will shoot 2.
Yeah, she's got to get off the, like you said, 2 points. And,
man.
Ooh, yeah, she just seems a little nervous today, just a little off. Plus sometimes if you haven't been here and you're the person on the team that they rely on, because, again, she's 18 points a game. Sometimes you do a little too much, and if you don't start off right, it kind of gets into your head, and you feel like you're letting your team down, so then you try even harder, and then it just gets worse and worse and worse.
Second free throw also no good. Followed too strong. Good look by Taylor. Couldn't get it to go. Ball will go out of bounds. And official signals to Mosley. Another good look. And we've seen a couple of those where the Deja Taylor can't get it to go. Mosley ball, as they'll have to come inbound. Jatavia Holly. And Taylor will have the ball on the floor, called the tie-up. Sort of a quick tie-up there. It'll be Mosley ball anyway.
That was definitely not a jump ball.
She had the ball on the floor and passed it out.
Nice step to the ball there by Freeman. There you go. Brogland for three.
Brogland for three. Man, that's her second three of the game now with 6 points. 35-18, Mosley within 17 as the ball knocked out of bounds.
Again, if I'm Mosley's coach, that's what I would harp on the most, which is, there's no way they're going to continue to shoot that well. And they'll turn the ball over, the 13 turnovers. So if we can make those turnovers, turn them into points, we can get back at this game slow and steady, but we can do it.
Here is Mayer going to get passed up from McCarthy. Actually went out of bounds over the head of Riley Mayer. Ponte Vedra, a little bit of a struggle to start the third quarter.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you watch Ponte Vedra, they're really good at ball fake. Every time they catch it, the ball fake. So if Mosley can stay on the ground and not go for it, then they'll definitely have a much better opportunity.
So travel called against Mosley. Chappell trying to double her there. She gets past it now, all the way to the basket, drives and lays it in.
Oh, wow.
Took care of that trap. Went right around Jade Johnson, and 17 for Channing Chappell. It's 37-18.
Oh, that's too long. In general, and especially in the half court, about 15 feet so long as you want to make a pass. You do a long cross-court pass that doesn't have much energy on it, they're going to get stolen most of the time.
You're watching live coverage of the FHSAA basketball semifinals on the NFHS Network. NFHSnetwork.com/FHSAA is your destination for the most comprehensive coverage of Florida high school playoff action. To purchase a DVD keepsake copy of today's event, click on the blue Get the DVD button directly under your event in the video player, or click on the Buy a DVD button on the top right-hand corner of the NFHS Network website. Now coming up against Ponte Vedra. That will be on Tess Tibbetts, her second. So
that's a good keepsake to have. I have my Final Four games. Buy those, and the quality and the production that you have.
Right.
Really, seriously, I throw those in all the time, even the unhappy ones.
Right. Yeah, we won't talk about no.
That's the one game I don't remember.
And one.
There you go.
Taylor hits the short jumper. She's had a tough day, but this time hits a little 10-footer and gets fouled. Chance for a three-point play. Mosley's starting to get in the flow a little bit here.
But they've still only knocked off 3 points from the lead. That's the scary part. So they got to tie the scoring they're in, get a couple more stops. And again, like I was saying, that 4-minute mark, if you can get it down to 12 or 13, you could sell that. Hey, look, we knocked off 5, 6, 7 points. Keep doing this every 4-minute block, and we'll be all right.
Free throw missed by Taylor. Jade Johnson comes up with a loose ball. Johnson, now ball in the air, nearly stolen away, and Tibbetts tried to get a steal, and Jaleh Jamalan will be tripped up. It's another foul on Tibbetts. She picks up her third now.
And that's something to look out for. 14 fouls already here. If Mosley can get into the bonus here pretty early, that's a way to get back into a game as well. Shooting some free throws, no time coming off the clock.
Jamalan air ball on the three from the left corner. Now Tibbetts with a rebound. Trapping Tibbetts, gets it ahead to Chappell. Jackie Wagner at half court. Ponte Vedra does get it across. We're nearly an over and back. Goes back to Tibbetts. 5 minutes left, third quarter. Ponte Vedra 37, Mosley 20. Chappell, nice move. She'll try the three, top of the key. It's short this time. And the rebound, one underneath though, and the putback for Ponte Vedra is good by Hayden Oakes. An offensive board leads to the basket, 39-20. Chappell hasn't missed a lot of shots today. 7 for 11 from the floor. Jamalan driving in, nice move to the hoop, gets the jumper on the baseline. 39-22, but again, as you said, Coach, they've only shaved 3 points off this deficit. It's 35-15 and a half, but nearly a turnover is stepping in the passing lane. Taylor knocked it out of bounds.
They're playing pretty even, but again, now you're running out of time. So maybe an extra stop, an extra basket here and there. Because if they keep just taking off 3 points every 4 minutes, that's going to be tough.
4:26 left, third quarter, and 39-22 Ponte Vedra leading it. Yesterday, 3 state champions crowned. Wildwood repeats in 1A over Port St. Joe, winning by 9. And I know you got a chance to see some games on Monday. City of Life Christian there in 2A.
They were fun to watch.
Yeah, apparently a sharp shooting team. They
10
win
to
the
21
championship. Right, that's something. And then in 3A, Somerset Academy winning the 3A title. And they won on a running clock against Orlando Christian Prep.
Who was not bad, so that just shows you how good Somerset was.
Right, Somerset Prep 70-34. Their first state title, first for City of Life Christian out of Kissimmee, Somerset out of North Lauderdale, and then Wildwood winning for the second year in a row in 1A. Actually, their Wildwood girls team is joining Mike Wright on his high school show tonight up in the Ocala area.
Nice.
As to celebrate their win. 3 missed that time
back
by
to back
Tibbetts.
for Wildwood.
Back to back, and
right.
Their boys were the runner-up last year. They're playing tomorrow night in a region final to advance back to Lakeland in 1A. Shot missed in the paint by Holly. Tie up this time between Wagner and Taylor, and a jump ball possession arrow gives it back to the Sharks. 4:01 left, third quarter. 4A championship game set for tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Miami Country Day against Tampa Carrollwood Day. 4:30 for 5A tomorrow. It'll be Lake Highland Prep taking on Oxbridge Academy. Lake Highland Prep looking for their 3rd state title in 4 years. Oxbridge has never won a state championship. Miami Country Day trying for 5 in a row. Tibbetts in trouble in the corner, and Coach Piggott will get a timeout.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to Carrollwood Day, Miami.
Country Day.
Carrollwood and Miami.
Day and Country Day.
Yeah, the days are throwing me off there, but I think that's going to be a great game. If anybody could give Miami Country Day a game, it's going to be Carrollwood Day School.
I think the size of Carrollwood Day, I wonder if they'll give them some trouble. You're right, give Miami Country Day trouble. They're just a very sharp team. Miami Country Day plays really good basketball, just a very fundamental. This is kind of what you said about Ponte Vedra, a fundamental team, as we've seen tonight, and they have made some turnovers, but fundamentally, again, the shots, they've had 26 shots, made 16, and
I think that's going to be a fantastic game, I hope.
both teams advanced to Lakeland last year. Lakewood a runner-up to Ribault 6A. American Heritage lost in the semifinals to Ribault, as driving in, picking up the foul is Leah McCarthy. She'll head to the line for 2. Foul against LaDeja Taylor, her second. It's the first team foul the second half on Mosley, as Ponte Vedra had 4 team fouls right now.
Taylor was okay until she swatted at it. She came over pretty well. Anytime you swipe at a person attacking the basket, they're going to call a foul.
And good on the free throw is McCarthy. She has 4 points, 40-22. She's 2 for 3 at the line. Ponte Vedra, in fact, she's attempted the only free throws for Ponte Vedra, 2 for 3 there. And Mosley right now 4 of 8, 50% from the charity stripe. Free throw is good as well for McCarthy. 5 for her now, back to a 19-point lead, 41-22. 35-15 score at the half, so Mosley has only outscored Ponte Vedra 7-6 so far in the third quarter. There's Freeman to the basket, lost it as she went down in the lane, and it's a turnover back to Ponte Vedra.
Again, the fundamentals, both the defenders there at the basket didn't reach, didn't slide, anything. They said, hey, if you got me, you got me, but we're going to stay straight up.
All right, pressure as Tibbetts goes cross court. Tibbetts, the point guard leader, returning senior according to her coach, Coach Piggott. Here's McCarthy, Mayer in the right corner. Across to Chapel, swinging at Jackie Wagner. Left side, now back across to Tibbetts.
See, a nice patience here.
Chapel being guarded by Jamalon, now over to Tibbetts. And again, Ponte Vedra taking their time, down to 2:35 to go third quarter. Mayer to Chapel. Now the Tibbetts left baseline, and now a foul after all that coming up as Tibbetts was tripped. 2:29 left now. That took maybe close to a minute off the clock. Foul goes against Freeman. That's her 3rd.
Yeah, Mosley's trying. They had some good trapping defense there, but Ponte Vedra is just really good at getting out of there, staying patient, facing up. Nice bounce passes out of double teams.
Ponte Vedra 23-5 as this will be an inbounds play coming up. Lost to Nice, who was one of the top teams in the area. It's a couple games to out-of-state teams as well. Bishop Kenny lost Flagler Palmcoast as well late in the year. That's Wagner again inside. Jackie Wagner, she signaled to the crowd. I guess she heard somebody up there say something to her. And 4 points for Wagner. She's
fun to watch. She plays with a lot of passion and a lot of mannerisms as well. Like, she's going to let you know how she's feeling. Smiling, angry. I like it.
Yeah, tie-up possession arrow will keep it with Mosley. And down to 1:58 left in the third quarter. And Mosley now time to get a little bit desperate here late in the third, down 21 points. Haven't been able to cut into this deficit at all in the third quarter. As Holly will look to inbound. To Johnson. Johnson cross and a layup good for Taylor. A nice pass to LaDeja Taylor, who has 8 points. She's leading Mosley in scoring. 43-24, Ponte Vedra by 19. Chappell across half court, John Milan on her. Chappell to the baseline. Faking a three, Tibbetts.
See, nice, because she didn't force that shot. It wasn't there, so she looked for it. Once she realized it wasn't there, she turned off.
Carthy driving in and blocked by Taylor. Got the rejection that time as we're down to 1:25 to go. Holly will pull up inside the paint. Missed the 10-footer short. Taylor offensive rebound. Boy, they wanted a foul there, did Mosley. And the rebound goes to Mayer. Now Chappell in trouble near the bench, and she went out of bounds. So Coach Mason wanted a foul inside on LaDeja Taylor now. They do get the ball anyway as Channing Chappell stepped out of bounds.
I think that was pretty good no call both ways because they just got away with one on one end. Kind of a similar play around the basket here. They let them both go, so you call it even and move on.
The Mosley ball. Batavia Holly. Cross, three for John Milan, right elbow in and out. Good look, wouldn't go. Rebounded by Chappell. Took that ball away from Jay Johnson to Mosley. Under a minute to go in the third. Tibbetts dribbling across half court. Around John Milan. Mayer will try a three right corner. No good, too strong. Wagner trying for the rebound, and it went off of Jackie Wagner. It'll be back to Mosley. 44.7 left. Ponte Vedra lost 2 games late in the year to Bishop Kenny and to Flagler Palmcoast. Jacksonville Bishop Kenny beat Ponte Vedra 41-38. And that's the team Mosley beat to advance here to Lakeland in the region final last week in Panama City. Lynn Haven is driving in. There's Holly. It's only her second basket of the game. Driving in now with 4 points. It's 43-26. Ponte Vedra Mayer ahead of the defense now, driving up, lays it in. Pass didn't look like it was going to get to Riley Mayer, but once it did, she was wide open.
It did. It seemed like slow motion, just in the air forever.
45-26, 10 seconds to go here in the quarter. Johnson will turn around out the top of the key. Long three for Brogland is short, hits the front of the rim. Tibbetts with a rebound, and she's going to try a three-quarter court shot.
Oh, got it there.
It's off the mark, but that's the end of the third quarter. Ponte Vedra 45, Mosley 26. Mosley playing better in that quarter, but they only outscored Ponte Vedra by 1, 11-10. So the lead is 19 for the Ponte Vedra Sharks, trying to advance to the state championship game for the first time in school history in girls basketball. Again, they were state semifinalists last year for the first time. Mosley, their first appearance to the state semifinals as well. But Ponte Vedra working on that first half advantage, and they take a 19-point lead into the final quarter.
Yeah, Mosley had a nice little run there. They started going, they just couldn't do enough to make it that, 13, 14-point game. So, if I'm Ponte Vedra, say, hey, look, you took their best shot that quarter. They gained a point, so let's just keep being patient, staying fundamental, doing what we need to do. Don't try to force anything, but we can't just try to stall either. So attack when it's there and be ready to go.
So fourth quarter coming up here from the RP Funding Center. Ponte Vedra 45, Mosley 26. Marty Palmer along with Coach Will White. Today's game also available for all subscribers via our mobile website. Log in to NFHSnetwork.com for your smartphone or tablet to view live games or replays from anywhere. Ponte Vedra According to Max Preps, ranked 5th in Class 6A. Mosley ranked number 6. Both teams winning 3 home games as district champs to advance here to Lakeland. Ponte Vedra starts with the ball here in the 4th quarter. Oates over to Mayer. Mayer dribbles back towards the top of the key. And nearly a steal by Brogdon. Chappell lost the ball and gets it back, and well, she got called for a travel, I guess. I didn't see what the call was there.
Yeah, I thought the ball got flicked away. I thought she was okay.
Chappell only 2 points there in the 3rd quarter, has 17 to lead Ponte Vedra. Tess Tibbetts with 10 points, did the score in the 3rd quarter. And on the other side for Mosley, Asia Taylor leading the way with 8. As Jatavia Holly now starting to get involved. She has 6 points, 45-28. Still 7:14 to go, an entire 4th quarter as foul coming up top of the key against Mosley. Jade Johnson, her first. Pass to McCarthy. Boy, it went down and she got fouled as well as she tried to dribble out. So Mosley picks up a couple fouls there in a row. They only have 14 fouls after that. Ponte Vedra only with 3. As Johnson picks up her 2nd quick foul. See Holly, 3-year varsity starter, 40% three-point shooter, leading the team coming in for Mosley at 17.5 points a game. Now has 6 points and only had 2 points at halftime. We'll give you the numbers here through 3 quarters in just a moment as Mayer dribbling back out to Tibbetts.
They're doing a box and 1 on Chappell here.
Oh boy, contact there between Chappell and against Holly, and looks like Holly gonna pick up the foul. Well, what's going on? Looks like the official is telling Holly to cut it out, whatever just happened. He didn't.
Yeah, and I was watching that very clearly that whole time. I had no problem with what Holly was doing. She was just guarding her with her hands up, and Chappell ran her over, and they called the foul on Holly. She has the right to stand there as a defender.
Yeah, and
see, Chappell's flopping there.
And Holly is going to get frustrated here. She picked up another foul. And you know what, Chappell, you're right, maybe flopping, but the officials are not seeing it that way, and Holly's going to need to adjust. And Holly now is talking to Chappell, and if she's going to get a technical, she doesn't lap, and there it is.
It should have been a technical on both. They're really not doing a very good job at this second.
I agree. And you know what? I didn't like really the official talking to Holly that long. Holly was frustrated, and I don't know if she said something. The official had a long conversation with her, and now Chappell going to shoot technical free throws.
Because all they were trying to do was box and 1 her. The defenders had her hands up and was standing there, and Chappell was getting mad. Chappell ran her over, and then they called the foul on Holly. Chappell clapped her hands and to the face of Holly, and nothing happened.
Yeah.
And then she retaliated. And you know that classic situation. They get the retaliation, but.
Free throw good for Chappell, who has 18. It's an 18-point lead again, 46-28. So that's 3 fouls now on Holly with a technical as well. And both free throws are good for Chappell. 19 for Channing Chappell, and it's a 19-point edge again for Ponte Vedra. And that may be, again, a frustration, too, with Holly picking up those 2 quick fouls. So Ponte Vedra to inbound, 6:58 left, 4th quarter. McCarthy waiting for Chappell to break open. Chappell now being guarded there by Maddie Freeman. And now it's taken away by Mosley. Here comes Freeman. Holly came out of the game after the technical.
Yeah, that's a coaching 101. You always take a kid out after they've got a technical, not so much as a punishment, but as give them a little cool down.
Right.
So, I'd put her back in pretty quick, but just sort of that. I'm not sure I've ever allowed a kid to stay in who's gotten a technical. Again, it's more of a give him a chance to calm down. Especially there when she got a foul, technical, all within 30 seconds
fouls,
or so.
Right. Turnover back to Ponte Vedra. And 1 there as well for Ponte Vedra. McCarthy will score. And a chance for a 3-point play for her, Leah McCarthy.
Yeah, attacked the basket really hard there. As
Taylor picks up her 3rd, and now the lead back to 21, 49-28. And Mosley hasn't been able to make really much headway at all in the second half.
Yeah, like you said, pretty even second half, but just not been able to pull away.
Yeah, the first half, Ponte Vedra was, hitting those 3-pointers. That was really the story. They led it to half by 20. Missed the free throw there. Here's Freeman to the baseline, and this time Wagner are going to pick up the blocking foul. Her third. Mosley now has 8 team fouls. Those that spurt there of about 4 in a row. Ponte Vedra now with 5 as Wagner picks up her third. Wagner will check out. Back in is Hayden Oates. And also back in for Ponte Vedra, Trish Balzer, number 10. She'll replace Riley Mayer, the junior, freshman in for the junior. Freeman inside to Taylor. Taylor bounced it short of the rim. And ball out of bounds will be over to Ponte Vedra as McCarthy went down to the floor again.
I wouldn't be surprised if Holly gets back in here for Mosley pretty quick. Again,
they need her.
Yeah, give her a chance to calm down. Plus, as a senior, you definitely give your senior in there a chance to kind of finish it off. You never.
Well, this continues our trend of teams that don't have a lot of seniors. Holly's the only senior that plays a major time for Mosley. And Ponte Vedra, led by Chappell, the sophomore, their only senior that plays is Tibbetts, the captain, Tess Tibbetts. She's had a good game today, though. Shooting the ball, it has Chappell. Tibbetts gets it back.
Wow.
Pass. Oh!
Nice defense there, but that was a great high-low inside pass.
Oates blocked by Taylor. Here comes Brogdon the other way.
And here comes Holly back in.
Taylor back inside from Brogdon. Ball on the floor. It's stolen. That time by Oates. Chappell, 2-on-1 the other way. Passes. Oh, and that time Balzer couldn't handle it. Now cross-court pass. Cutting to the hoop. Shot missed by Oates. Put back no good by Chappell. Now a fight for it and jump ball. Possession arrow gives it back to Mosley, or did they call a foul?
I think they called a jump. And then after they called that, she cleared out and got Ponte Vedra a little bit. Although I'll be honest, Ponte Vedra is kind of selling a lot of the fouls here. Kind of, not knocking soccer or anything, but it's kind of getting soccer-esque there a little bit.
Tess Tibbetts had 28 points in the region final, went over 5A, 70-52 last Friday. 28, as she has scored tonight in this game, 10 points down in the second half. As another shot off the mark for Mosley. 5 minutes to go, and a 49-28 lead for Ponte Vedra. Balzer, Tibbetts. Back from Oates to Chappell, another three. That double again for Channing Chappell, her 4th three of the game, giving her 22 points. 52-28, 4:35 left. Freeman to the baseline. Freeman runs into McCarthy. McCarthy going to pick up the foul. Now, she does the Bill Lambier, as we said earlier. What, me? I didn't commit a foul.
What, me?
Wasn't moving.
Yeah, she was just a little sideways. Otherwise, but you can just tell right there, Mosley's just kind of attacking hard. Freeman there the last couple times, just attacking really hard, maybe trying to get a free throw out of it. And so Ponte Vedra's got to react to that by making sure they're going straight up and not getting involved in all of that.
Freeman hits the first. Freeman with 3 points. Hadn't scored since a basket early in the first quarter. She came in averaging 5.5 points a game. Taylor averages 13 a game. She has now 8 points. Second free throw is good as well. And Holly averaging 18 a game has 6. As you said, Holly probably needs to get back in the game and is now back in the game. 3 fouls. She's right back on Chappell. 52-30 with 4:20 to go.
So that's the drama right now, is are they going to be able to handle this and see if something happens?
Oh, boy. Yep. You can almost predict that was going to happen as Chappell, and again, Chappell went down. Holly was trying to stay with her, went down on the floor as well, and Holly gets called for her 4th foul. And again, a frustrating night for her and her coach, John Mason, who is now down on one knee near the bench.
Yes.
4:14 to go. Chappell.
Yeah, that's been the I was going to say that's been the fourth quarter drama. There is the Chappell Holly situation.
Hits the first free throw on front end of the 1-on-1. 9th team foul on Mosley. It's 23 now for Channing Chappell. 53-30, 23-point lead. as Ponte Vedra continues to extend the lead. This is now their largest lead of the game. Second free throw, no good. Up for the rebound, Johnson fighting forward, and loose ball ends up with Jemiah Brogdon. Holly back to Jade Johnson. Over to Freeman. Freeman on the baseline. Freeman hit the bottom of the backboard with it that time.
That was a much better job by McCarthy sliding over and staying strong and not giving a hip or something for Freeman to be able to run into.
Well, Chapel gets called for the travel. Thought about the three, decided to drive in, and gets called for the turnover. That is turnover 18 for Ponte Vedra. 11 turnovers for Mosley. Ponte Vedra still at 60% from the floor at 18 for 30. Mosley 11-44.
No, you're good. You're starting to look for some subs here now. Maybe it's Ponte Vedra. Not necessarily at this very second, but pretty soon, again, especially here in Florida when you play state championships back-to-back days.
Right. Need some rest. Oh, boy.
You know, and the way this game's going honestly right now, Chapel would be out for me in the sense of,
I agree.
And pay attention, because all it takes is 1 second, do something stupid, get thrown out of a game,
right.
And now you can't play tomorrow. I'm overly conscious of, like, those sorts of things. There's an ankle. I'd at least give her a breather. You're going to come sit down for a minute. Now, at a minute, I'm going to see, is it still a 20-point game? And if so, you're done for the day.
It's hard to take a play like that off the floor.
It is.
You're right. At this point in the game, and she plays, that's the way she plays. She plays all out, too. As Chapel will go to the line. Goffigan picks up her second foul.
So I'd be real careful with that, again, because just watching the situation, she's on the edge right now herself.
10th team foul, so 2 shots the rest of the way for Ponte Vedra. As that's 24 now for Chapel. 54-30, it's a 24-point lead. 3:37 left. Looks good for Ponte Vedra to advance to the championship game. As you said, tomorrow night they'll have about 24 hours. 7 o'clock tomorrow night, be back on the court. As out of bounds, Freeman can't handle it. Mosley turns it over for the 15th time. Chapel with 25 points. And Deja Taylor will check back in for Mosley. 3:32 to go. 55-30. Ponte Vedra by 25. Led by 20 at halftime.
Right now, I'm just watching Chapel Holly over there just to kind of see him. That's
the drama left in this game,
yes,
really.
Yes.
With 3:15 to go. We can start talking about Ponte Vedra in the state championship game tomorrow night. They're going to have a tough test either way, American Heritage or Lakewood.
Yeah, I've seen Lakewood quite a few times this year. They're tough.
Well, down that time went Freeman on the floor. Ball out of bounds will stay with Ponte Vedra.
There you go, clearing the bench.
Line change. 5 starters out, 5 substitutes in. Nice hand for those players. So Ponte Vedra will get number 5, Sophia Fraga in the game. Number 14, Lauren Bing. Number 1, Olivia Lee. Number 13, Kate Lance. And number 4, Gina Sanchez-Vilches. And right away they turn it over, but then get it back as Mosley turns it over there. And Freeman is limping. She went down on the floor there earlier to see if she's okay. And another turnover for Ponte Vedra.
Again, people are arguing for the over and back on that one, but again, only 1 foot went over. So 1 foot, the other foot didn't, and the ball didn't. So
Joe Milan returns to lead Joe Milan in for Maddie Freeman. And Freeman may be done for the day. She was shaken up a little earlier. Down to 2:35 to go. Holly to Jomelin. High arcing 3 from the right corner. No good.
Almost got the bounce.
Rebounded by Holly. Holly, turn around. Shot too strong from 10 feet. Rebound. Jomelin put back is good. She has 4 points. 55-32. Mosley's season going to end at 22-6. First state semifinal appearance. They do get a steal there. And for Ponte Vedra, they'll be 24-5 on to the championship. 3-pointer missed by Brogdon. Over from the left wing. Rebound this time by Ponte Vedra's number 13, Kate Lance.
Good idea, just wasn't able to get that pass over there.
And a turnover. Ponte Vedra will have their 20th turnover of the game, but again, the Well, Coach Pickett will take a timeout, maybe to settle the girls down before they're getting a chance to play here.
Especially that next group. Again, here's one of those things. A lot of times fans and everyone, they're like, oh, come on, what are you calling timeout for? But he's coaching that next group. You know, they're not playing really well. And so he wants to give them, you know, all the coaching that he would like his first group there. What do they need to work on? What do they have to do better? And motivating them to finish strong.
High school sports fans, never miss another game. Become a subscriber to the FHS Network to watch live event coverage, game replays, and highlights from high school sporting events from across the country. Millions of athletes, thousands of games, one destination, FHSNetwork.com. We are high school. Marty Palmer, I'm with Coach Will White. Our crew here in Lakeland. It's Gary Tufford, producer, director. Mike Novak and Brandon Crotch are camera operators. As we have 1:57 left here in this 6A semifinal, and this is also not a close game. It has been a day of the first game of the day was 32 points. The second was 33 with a running clock. The third game was 18. That was the closest game of the day. And Oxbridge Academy and Cardinal Gibbons seemed like it was going to be a good game. Oxbridge pulled away to win by 23, and this is a 23-point game.
And I think as they've expanded the classifications to 9, you get more of that. You know, sometimes you get some people coming maybe from regions that aren't as strong as others. But you've seen that typically a lot more here once they went to 9A.
That is true, and it's actually true in boys basketball as well.
Yeah.
Mosley will turn it over. Ponte Vedra, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, because that kind of spreads out some of those, you know, maybe Winter Haven, Lakewood, or something like that would be in the same region if you had 6 classes or 7 classes. And again, I have nothing wrong about it. Florida's growing, and there's still, 80 teams or so in each class. So, it's a legitimate state championship, but, you spread out some of those better teams.
Minute 30 left. And ball out of bounds will stay with the Sharks. Tough way for Mosley's season to end. Advancing here to Lakeland, though, but Coach Mason getting this team here. It was another one of those teams making their first appearance.
And like you said, Holly's the big senior that gets a lot of minutes, so they're going to be around.
And Mosley had a 13-game winning streak at one point during the regular season. Lost to Colquitt County and Fort Walton Beach, a 2-game losing streak late November. Then went on a 13-game winning streak, dropped the game to Lincoln, who's in the 8A semis. Choctaw, who will be playing in 7A as well. Fort Walton Beach and late in the year as well. They lost twice to Fort Walton Beach. So, yeah, a really good season all around for Mosley. Choctaw will be in the 7A semis. They actually knocked out Fort Walton Beach by 3 to advance to the region final, where they beat Nice. They'll be playing here on Friday.
Nice three-pointer by Holly.
Now Holly now with 9, 55-35. Last minute to play. Our last game coming up around 8 o'clock between Lakewood and American Heritage Plantation. That's a 3. Too strong, right elbow for Lee. The bench on their feet that time. I always want to see those players score when they get on the floor like that, or have a tie up there, and ball will stay with Ponte Vedra. You mentioned last year, Coach, being impressed with Ponte Vedra, and I'm sure you can only be impressed again by seeing them tonight.
Oh, yeah. Again, they're fundamental. It's going to be interesting to see them play either American Heritage or Lakewood. Both are really physical, athletic teams. And so to see if they can kind of handle that pressure. The thing, if I was Ponte Vedra, would scare me is they had 13 turnovers that first half. And so if you turn the ball over against Lakewood or against American Heritage, you're in a lot of trouble. So this is going to be an interesting matchup of fundamentals versus, an athletic kind of trapping teams that both American Heritage and Lakewood will bring.
Down to, and there's a basket inside by Sophia Fraga, the sophomore, scoring. And 14 seconds to go, 57-35. Ponte Vedra by 22 as Holly drives in and scores. She gets into double figures.
Now that the pressure's off a little bit, you can kind of see how more fluid she is. And again, that's not any disrespect, but just kind of playing a little too, she's playing at 115% early on. It was just a little too much.
So that is it, 57-37. Two teams played exactly even in the second half, 22 all, but again, the difference the first half, Ponte Vedra led at halftime 35-15, and they cruise to a victory. And they'll play tomorrow night for their first state girls basketball title in 6A against the winner of our game coming up between American Heritage and Lakewood. Final Ponte Vedra 57, Mosley 37, dominating performance for the Sharks, as they end up shooting right at 55%. They even cooled off a little bit today.
You'll win most of your games shooting 55%.
7 of 16 behind the arc in this game. They out-rebounded Mosley 34-28. And again, points in the turnovers 21-12, points in the paint 26-20. Dominated performance. Channing Chapel leading the way with 25 tonight for the Sharks. So our final in this 6A semifinal, Ponte Vedra 55 as they go to see some of their fans, it looks like. Ponte Vedra 55, or this one guy over here. Mosley 35.
I'm looking at the same thing. I don't know who, if that's a principal or someone's dad or what's up.
So congratulations to the Sharks moving on to the state championship game. Mosley season ends at 22-6. For Gary Tufford, for Mike Novak, and for our cameraman here as well tonight, Brandon Crotchett, and for Coach Will White, I'm Marty Palman saying so long. 57-37 the final. We'll see you again at 8 o'clock. Our final game of this semifinal Wednesday, day 3 of the FHSAA State Girls Basketball Championships. Lakewood and American Heritage coming up. This has been a presentation of Play On Sports and the NFHS Network. So long for now from the RP Funding Center in Lakeland.